All right, going on in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody on the World Wide Web. This is Landon, aka DJ News Spirit, also known as Land Ryu 513 on the Capcom Fighters Network. I hope and pray each and every one of you are good. I got other projects and everything coming up into play. I got them cooking up right now, and grateful to at least get things started. But I wanted to touch bases on something that I think that needs to be addressed while we're talking about the center of fighting games and things as part of the fighting game community. I think there is a problem a huge problem when it comes to the instance of online trolling. There was a particular individual who I won't say for the sake of privacy with other individual for the sake of privacy that happened at a well-known event. The person got banned because he reacted from years of online trolling, which affected him, his family, and so forth. And many others who were in affiliation of the individual who did such to the other individual, of said individual who got banned from the fighting game community in a particular region. It happened to a point because of the factor that they spewed and said things about a deceased family member, relative, and as well as things around his family and so forth. And said other individuals that had something to do with this won't come forward or pretend like nothing happened. The thing about online trolling, and I just wanted to briefly talk about that. The thing about online trolling is that it has its consequences. It has its things that are not of the contrary. It hurts others. Like, it's one thing to say ha ha, he he, LOL, and everybody throwing jib jabs at each other and so forth. But it's another thing to discriminate, say things about people's family members, go into people's profiles, taking their pictures, and so forth. And it's a lot of things that people do. And people say it's freedom of speech or whatever, but it's social media. Social media has its, sorry for the airplane, social media has its draw points. And you can't abuse certain things and abuse limitations, such as online trolling, cyberbullying, and so forth. And they all have their limitations. To hurt an individual because of one, their skin color, background, gender, and so forth, and it's a variation of them, even to the point if it was rage mail for online gaming, etc. Those have their limitations. You can't do things and think that you're going to get away with it. Every eye shut isn't closed, and I applaud anybody that's willing to stand their ground, but do understand that you also have to be in control when you have reactions, when you react in certain situations. But if a person who's been through something for such a long time, where they're being oppressed, where their mind is to a point to where they can't get rid of the anxiety or the trauma and everything that's behind it, they react a certain way. They say things that they end up regretting, of course, being banned from a tournament and so forth, saying things on the contrary, which I won't go into detail about. But at the end of the day, those that are committing the treason or committing the wrongdoing to particular individuals wonder why people react and act the way they do. Hence, these things with these shootings, these things with whatever they may be. And there's no excuse for hurting others, and that's the absolute truth. And that's nothing to justify that. You don't justify them type of actions. But people who do cyberbullying don't understand that they are doing things to hurt others. And if you continue to hurt others while doing such, there will be consequences. It comes reaction is a reaction. It's a chain reaction. Everything is a circle and it never ends. And people don't understand that this online trolling, you go on people's profiles, you go on these chats, these forums to talk about another individual and to hurt a person or scrutinize an individual because they're different from you, or because they may be some lower level skilled player or whatever like that. And these things have its draw points. It's about respect. It's one thing to trash talk, but then to disseminate another individual, talk about somebody's deceased father or mother, or just taking people's infant pictures, or and it's a long range of things that I have seen and evaluated and witnessed. You can't do these type of things. People take this online gaming too far, even to the point of going to these locals or these venues, and don't understand that these people will rise up. You had all this courage to say all this evil and profuse things about a particular individual, but when this person confronts you, You're quiet as a church mouse. You get together, you band together with a gang of people because you're so afraid because of things you said that were wrong to an individual. You're scared, and then you don't want to deal with the consequences behind that. Nothing is to be justified out of bad reaction and out of lack of self-control. But people need to understand that you can't bully your way to stardom. You have people in the FGC or fighting game community, and really the fighting game community is not a bad place. It's the people in it that make it bad. Something that my mother and father told me growing up is that the world is not a bad place. You have bad people in it that make the world bad. And it's the exact same thing. So video games essentially, not to make this a long-winded issue, video games essentially is a getaway, an escape from out of the things that you deal with on the outside. Video games at this point shouldn't be to a point to where, although it is competitive and competition is fun, it should be meant to be fun. Where you got family, you got friends, you got other people together. And I'm not trying to white knight an issue, but I'm just saying what video games were essentially made for. Video games were a getaway, escape for what's going on outside of reality. You can leave the outside and not having to worry about what you're dealing with. Play your games, hang out with your mom, your dad, cousin, uncle, friend, relative, neighbor, whoever it may be. Competition, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, whatever that you guys do, whatever. There's certain things that has its limits. You don't use a video game to make yourself feel empowered. You don't use a video game to make yourself better than somebody else and so forth. And these players scrutinize other players because they pick a low tier character, or they pick this such character, but then they don't feel like that they will be better than somebody. And it's a long list of just ridiculousness that goes behind this stuff. And everything has a draw point. Everything has a draw point. You just have to enjoy the video game. That's all it is to it. Japan, Europe, whoever that are developing these games and so forth, people are like at each other's throats for something that they're not making money off of. Some that are probably making money off it, but they forgot who they are as an individual. One of the biggest things that whatever that is in this life, and this is a life lesson, because what you're good at, you don't let that drive you. You let that drive you to a positive thing, to where you impact others or maybe inspire others to do something probably of the same measure or even better. But emulation has its draw points. You don't emulate or copy off of what other people do. Be your own inspiration. Be your own uniqueness, and so forth. You don't use it as a tool or a crutch to put down others. You don't use it as a tool or crutch to think that you're better than somebody, because somebody always gonna know some more than you do, and that's an essential fact. Martial arts, being a teacher, architecture, whatever profession or whatever it is that anybody does, there is always somebody out there that's gonna know more than you do, or be better at than when you do. Each one teach one. And that's what's supposed to be a part of the community of the FGC, especially the United States community. But in different regions, different cities, whatever, you have people that have egos, and these egos are just baffling. I'm not one to sit up and say that I'm better than somebody else, because I know people look at my YouTube and see my uploads or whatever they may be and be like, oh, you're down on me or whatever. I'm not talking about that. That's beside the point. It's about community. It's about having fun. It's not about scrutinizing an individual. It's not about putting people through something that they shouldn't have to be put through. You don't antagonize or hurt an individual or cyberbully somebody and think that there won't be consequences that are behind them. But then just the fact that you're doing it because you're hiding behind a computer, you're hiding behind a mobile device, you're hiding behind an Apple computer or PC, I don't care what you're behind. You're doing something to alienate or to hurt an individual that's different from you, and that's wrong. So with my words that are coming out, anybody that has been through a situation or whatever that may be, such as cyberbullying, being at venues where people think they're better than you, even being bullied there, it don't matter. People should be able to go to these venues. People should go online without having to deal with certain things. Like me personally, my first time of playing Street Fighter 5, and Street Fighter 5 is not dividing the community. The community, people are dividing the community. We need to get that straight real quick. People need to stop using a video game saying that it's dividing people. You are in control of what you do behind that video game or behind that controller, behind the arcade stick, hitbox, whatever. It's you that has to be in control, not anybody else that's around you. It's you. When you do things and you're hurting somebody else, you are out of control. You haven't self-contained yourself. You haven't allowed yourself to reflect and see what's going on around you or what you're doing to another individual. You're out of control. A video game has nothing to do with your behavioral patterns. It's you. It's you that's out of control. The person, the player, not a video game. We can huff and talk about how bad Street Fighter 5 and a whole of these other games, they did this to this such character, they nerfed this character, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's you that is in charge of what you have to do. It is you that is in charge as a player of how you're going to play with such character. It is you as an individual. That's for your behavior, period. None of us don't have skeletons in our own closet as it is. We all sin. We all fault. But at the end of the day, you have to be the person to have the courage enough to say when something is wrong, when you've afflicted something against somebody, when you've done the utmost. You have to be in charge of your own situations, as well as understanding that it takes courage to say when you're wrong about something. And many people don't do that. It's a bravado. It's an egotism. It's like to a point where everybody got like some type of mafia or fake gangster beef or whatever online. People are using social media the wrong way, and especially us in the fighting game community, and it brings a level of toxicity. It really is sad. We've taken a video game, or any video game for that matter, a fighting game, and made it to a point to where we defile or we disrespect other people. Again, trash talk is going to be there. You got to have thick skin, but you don't do things as discriminating, hurting another person because they're different from you. Talking about people's families, going on, infiltrating on people's profiles and such. And there's a lot of things that go behind that. So if it means anything, if anybody's out there listening, encourage others and have fun within the fighting game community. It's not a bad place. You just have those that are wolves in sheep's clothing that are doing such. And the ones that are doing such need to be big enough to say and admit when they're wrong about something. And to just learn to have fun. It's not a big deal. This stuff isn't gonna, when we leave the earth, it's not coming with us, but for what it's worth, enjoy what you got, enjoy the competition, and enjoy having each other around. Doesn't matter if it's U.S. territory, European territory, Asian territory, whatever it may be. Fighting games are meant to be enjoyed and competitive and having fun with it. Some people put their heart and soul into this stuff. That's understandable. But those that are, the usual casual gamer or whatever that may be, just even pro players, it doesn't matter. Just learn to have fun with it. Don't use it as a crutch to think that you're better than others. Because at the end of the day, somebody will humble you in life, in this game, any video game. And when you get humbled, it's a wake-up call. Things have to change. Your mentality, your sequences, your approach with fighting, with matchups, etc. But then also in life, you have to learn to have respect for yourself as you would do others. You would do unto others as others would do unto you. That's not a gold standard. That's a diamond standard. In case in point, you can't say you love another individual, but you hate your brother. And no matter how you look at it, we're all in this together. That's really all I have to say. I hope whatever that I said made sense. And it's just something that I wanted to go out there and just be peaceful about. There are things that are going on that you have to be consciously aware of, and people need to be understanding, and everybody has a voice. Everybody, what may go on in the dark will eventually be revealed in the light, and every eye shut isn't closed. We gotta take responsibility and be more encourageable. And be respectful to another person. You don't have to like a person. That's not the point of the video, but you can learn to respect another individual. So I hope this makes sense. You guys, this is Landon, aka DJ New Spirit out. I hope you all have been well. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.